My story is much too sad to be told, but practically everything leaves me totally cold. The only exception I get is the feel when around on a quiet spree, feeling vainly the old ennui. And suddenly I turn and see you're fabulous, babe. I get no kick from Bahrain. Turkic cabal doesn't thrill me at all. Tell me, why is it true that I get a kick out of Jews? I get no kick from a plane flying high with some Soviet in the sky. Is my idea of nothing to do. I get a kick from the Jews. Tell me, why is it true? Get a little kick from them. They're funny. They look like me, and they seem to think more. But they could become AI robots and just follow orders like a robot. That's how they get rid of them. They put them in armies. That's how you get rid of Dagestanis. You put them all on the front lines before the Russians, don't you? You cowards. Putin. 2 Vladimirs, and none of them deserve any glory. Any Vladimir. He ain't no Velar. My last name comes from you people. Velar. Vlad the Impaler. This is the anomaly. See that red dot on your knot? Took him down before he even got on my hit list. You understand? It's Jason Bourne. Let's find out the identity. 'Cause I ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm no more. Before I say that, though, let us finish what we started. In the Art of the Deal, watch that episode, The Art of the Deal, DOL, The Art of Invoking God. That's very interesting. In The Art of the Deal, published 1987, Donald Trump wrote that his mother was a very traditional housewife, but she also has a sense of the world beyond her. She subsequently became a philanthropist as the family became wealthier. She died in 2000 at the age of 88. She died on the Jubilee at the age of 88. Eyes to see, ears to hear. Siblings, Marianne Trump Barry. So a tarot? Anyway. Turn around, Barry. Now I finally found a chocolatey snack. If I was my wife, will give me any more flack. I finally found the right snack. Barry was the oldest of the Trump children. Born in 1937, a federal judge. Federal. They separate the pe from the ra through an invoking door. Kind of explains what the process of even something federal is. Isn't that interesting? Federal gets more time in prison. Oh, you have the map to escape the prison tattooed all over your body. Prison break. Let's go. Federal judge. She was married to David Desmond. Literally. Desmond's in the marketplace. Desmond is in that song. Oh bloody, oh bloody, life goes on. I'm a pharaoh. I don't care about anybody, so life goes on. Oh bloody, pull your spell. So I should stop singing this stupid song. All right, David Desmond. You can't. DD David. For 20 years, between 1960, 1980. Very interesting years. They had a son, David William Desmond. She married fellow attorney John Joseph Barry in 1982, and they stayed together until his death in 2000. Interesting. The crowns come down before the other crowns. You do know that the World Trade Center before 2001 had two towers, one with a king's spire and crown and one with a queen's crown. The queen got hit in her abdomen, the king in his crown. The queen keeled over before the king, and the king sat in his chariot and watched until all the fluid drained out from the arrow shot in someone's innocence. That is just something else. You will see the descending blow of his arm, and the fury, and the wrath, and the smoke. It says this in Isaiah. It will darken the sky. It will turn the sun red and the moon. It will turn the sun black and the moon red. Go look up pictures. Attending Hofstra University School of Law while her son was in the sixth grade. According to the New York Times, Barry would go on to spend decades as a federal prosecutor and judge. He was nominated to the U.S. Court of Appeals 1999 by President Bill Clinton. Ronald Mr. Clinton Donald. That's the clown show. Ronald McDonald House. It's all the same house. It's all the same ethnos. One ethnos under God. Who is that ethnos, Mr. Trump? Why was that ethnos Man of the Year 1933? And so are you probably exactly 77 years later. I don't know. It's about 70 something years later. Here's this guy looking back around from the chair. It's like, yeah, I only saw the back of his head, so he got away with it. There's a mark on his face and his mouth. He signatures with his hand. He signals with his eyes and his feet and his hands. He winks at you. He is a liar, according to Proverbs. They show this in The Simpsons when Mr. Burns has the baseball team and he's signaling and everything. He's doing everything that says in the Proverbs a wicked man does. They do this on purpose because there's Semitic people who write these shows. And they don't like what rabbis do to them, so they write shows exposing it. That's why you always have clashing between government and media, because the government and the politicians are the abusive parents. The Hollywood are the rebellious teenagers. They're both the same family, and when they grow up, they're going to praise and worship these parents. That's what they all grow into. They all grow into worshipers of the image. And you go through their experience with them, and you match the stars. You match their questions. You guess along with them. Is the price right? No, it isn't. Your soul is not to be sold. She was nominated to the okay. Go look at the phenotypes really quick here. Can't make this up. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's a beauty. I've seen that. I've seen that woman. Everybody loves Raymond. That's the mother. Just about 666% more evil looking. So, it's got more steel. You like the feel of steel. You got more iron in that clay. You're more iron than clay. You're Iron Man. You're Iron Reagan. Has he lost his mind? Can he see? Or is he blind? Can he walk at all? Or if he moves, will he fall? Set. Nobody... He just stares at the world. Iron Man is the television. Get ready. It's the Iron Man. There's the Iron Woman. There's the signals. There's the messengers. There's the Iron Man as the television. Iron Man lives again with his hand outstretched. Will you partake of that last offered cup or disappear into the potter's ground when the man comes around? She officially retired 2019. Oh, 10 days after the launch of an investigation on allegations of judicial misconduct and tax evasion. Well, that can really cause a virus for the crown. She was secretly recorded in 2018 and 19, calling Donald Trump cruel and accused him of having no principles. She died in November last year at the age of 86. Oh, that's a shame. Sleep tight, sweet prince. I've come to take the pain away. That's what they say to these people. I've seen it. I know people whose family members escaped a hospital during this happening because a man came in and with dagger tattoos of a gang member or killer, injected this man with what is it called again? They inject him with something, and then he said, I'm going to take the pain away. They were going to take him to a ward. He called his son, and his son came and took him out on there. They were going to take him to the ward. You understand? If there's no sons to do that, all these people will just be taken there. When it happens again, when the Kamala Devai, you will see it. They tell you what they're doing. Frederick Trump Jr., born in 1938. Trump Jr. had 2 children. Frederick Trump III. They like giving glory to this king of the elves, this Odin, this Pera Derek. And married Trump after marrying Linda Clapp in 1962. Everybody got the clap in 62. He was expected to take over the family real estate business, but he instead pursued his ambitions to become a pilot. This is in their bloodline, creating unease between him, his father, and his brothers. You know why? Because flying gives you freedom to go anywhere and escape, like Amelia Earhart attempted to and got sold to the Japanese. After becoming an alcoholic, he quit flying and got divorced and moved back into his parents' house in Queens. Oh, something started coming after him. Oh, he died of a heart attack in September 1981 at the age of 42. Mary Trump wrote in her 2020 book, Too Much and Never Enough. Oh boy, if you're part of the 3%, you know that. Too much and never enough for these freaking people. That Fred Sr. played a large role in destroying her father. You step out of ranks, you get the peta, you get the mouth that breaks in pieces. Elizabeth Trump Grau. Kind of just reminds me of Goa'uld. Born in 1942, Grau is 4 years older than the former president. She attended Southern Seminary College in Virginia before joining Chase Manhattan Bank as an administrative assistant. Oh, gee, I wonder why Trump was saved out of water. Rockefellers were his messiah. He was sinking in the water. Do you understand? It's the maritime amnesty law of the Antichrist. He was sinking in the water, and the Mashiachs, the anti-Mashiachs, drew him out 3 times. Pirates, they did rob I. Take me down to the merchant ships, the merchantmen, then I took I from the bottomless pit. Won't you help to sing? She married TV and film producer James Grau in 1989. Right at the end of old Reagan 6 letters, Wilson 6 letters, Ronald 6 letters. To quote Bill Hicks. Ronald 6 letters, Wilson 6 letters, Reagan 6 letters. The couple has no children and has retired to Florida. That cesspit. They probably like breathing in that air. It's just like they're breathing in sewage, like vaporized sewage. Imagine like a vaporizer full of sewage. Robert Trump was born 1948, the youngest child of Trump Sr. and McLeod. He attended Boston University. I bet that was a bomb. And started working on Wall Street before joining the family business. Just don't ask him about it, ever. He died 2020 at the age of 71, with his funeral being held at the White House during the Trump presidency. There can only be one. There can only be one. Look at this beauty. Look at that. Who's that? Who's that? Look at this guy in the corner. What you doing? Who you monitoring? Look at those eyes. Babylon, Babylon. Watch your mouth. Why are you searching? Babylon, Babylon, Leko Mehan. You're not a mega friend. Babylon, Babylon. Watch your mouth. Why are you searching? Look at that Manchurian candidate. Donald Trump's first marriage lasted for 15 years, from 1977 to 1992. All these will be Kabbalistic. I just don't want to go over it. It's evil. They had 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. You have the Don, the false father, the Ivanka, the evoker, the false prophet, and Eric, the false Holy Spirit. And then the Baron comes out of the Asiatic Romanov, that is his wife, Melania. Melkart. I know you are from Crete. Born in 1949 in what was then Czechoslovakia, she lived in Canada, of course, in the early 1970s before her marriage to Trump, because that's the doorway to Kane, whom she met via her modeling career. You literally lose the Christ in your name and it gets replaced by the mouth of Ra. Evil. Disaster, not morally. Remember, it's just disaster in general. She held managerial positions in the Trump Organization, TO, and TO, and worked with her husband on projects such as Trump Tower, which is the black monolith of ISIS. It has 5 pillars. It has a downward pointing triangle with literal trees on it for a bush, because it represents a woman's procreative energy, and he is the dark lord in the dark tower. From a high tower, death looks gigantically down. Now my tower's the highest. Oh, the Twin Towers fall. I guess now mine's the highest, says death that looks gigantically down. But amid no earthly moans, that tower shall settle hence. Hell rising from 1,000 thrones shall bring it reverence. So says their own false prophets. So says their own seed. Edgar, that's look it up. It means their seed. The wild ass who drags away is Edgar. These are the exiled nobility. You're from 2 noble bloodlines. Your taste is high, but your funds are low. So marry this pharaoh. Make a deal with the shadow man who looks exactly like Barack Hussein Obama. With them purple eyes. Oh, the shadow man, are you ready? She died after a fall in her Manhattan home. This, was it Ivana? She died after a fall in her Manhattan home in July 2022 at the age of 73. Oh, there can only be one. Look at Marla Maples. Has anybody seen 30 Rock? I'm 30 years old. 30 Rock has just manifested fully now that I'm 30 years old. 30 Rockefeller Center. Who's your daddy and what does he do? Hmm? Have you seen 30 Rock? Have you seen the woman who gets with the man who dresses like her? Does the Baphomet worship? Well, guess what? Marla Maples looks just like her. It is Calais Petara. It's the rock of the serpent's gaze. The rock of the serpent's gaze. I'm pretty sure Melania's Facebook and stuff still has the same cover photo. It's just her Calais. Look it up. Look at Melania's Calais. Panan. The face of the serpent's gaze. Calapanef. California. You take all your belongings there to be destroyed is what it can mean. California. California. It's the testimony of humiliation and poverty from the serpent's gaze. Because you're afraid to face the serpent's gaze. I'm not afraid of Calais. Because the Elohim I serve is the Gata Calais Shem. The day of Yahovah is the Gat Calais Shem. The cataclysm. You just saw Pharaoh's daughter. Very, very sharp. Maple's relationship, Maple. Maple? Go look up what Maple means in Hebrew. It has to do with Apple computers. Look it up. It's in, you go to the website I already gave you. You go to the Hebrew index. You click on the Aleph, the first letter that looks like an X. Because they switched it over time. The Ta used to be the X and the Aleph used to be the house. Now, because the time of ignorance is over, like Paul said, now the Aleph is the mark, and the Ta is the house. Do you understand? The first one was baptized with a flood. The next one will be baptized with fire. That's the only way you get rid of iron. Get that iron out of that clay. That's what the angels are going to do at the end. They're going to extract the iron out of the clay. It's all going to be sucked into a singularity, and the smoke of its singularity burning is going to go up before the messengers and El Elyon forever and ever. Olam ha-olam. Maple's relationship with Trump started while he was still married to Ivana Trump, leading to their 1990 split. Yeah, that's what Pharaoh does. You know what they give birth to? Tapanes. They named their daughter after a jewelry store because Tapanes is the wife of the king. That's why it's a jewelry store. Tapanes Mapel is a fully Hebraic name. It's a Pharaoh Moses mix of bloodlines. Maples is a 60-year-old from Georgia Peach, and Trump were married in 1993. That's when I was born. 2 months after having a daughter. Tapanes Trump, Tiffany Trump, TT, 2 marks. These people are Kabbalists. They don't joke around. They divorced in 1999. 2000 party over at a time. So tonight we're gonna party like it's 1999. Running from my destruction. Oh no. The sky's apocalyptic. People running everywhere. Oh, life is just a party and parties aren't meant to last. They run from my destruction. You know I didn't even care. I was screaming when I wrote this, so sue me if I go too fast, Silverstein. Life is just a party, and parties ain't meant to last. 2000 party over, you're out of time. Melania Trumpe. Look at him wearing the mark of Malkush next to Malkart Anya. Look at him. Malchus got his right ear chipped by Petar's blade. It was healed by Mashiach so that Ptah would always have the blame from the Romans of attacking with no proof. This is a Kabbalistic ritual. Look at his Manchurian Slavic woman clothed in scarlet. Melania Trumpe was born in what was then Yugoslavia. Yeah, I had a world history teacher. Donald, world mighty chief. My world history teacher just so happened to come from Yugoslavia. Hugo. Remember I said Gaia? Hugo, treated as the evil one in the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors. You understand? Tara, Hausha, Harar. You're about to find out how virgin this language is, homie. Yugoslavia in today's Slovenia. They took the Yugo out. 1970. She briefly attended the University of before starting her modeling career and moving to New York in 1996. She met Trump 2 years later at a Fashion Week party. Fashion, one of the rivers out of Eden. 1998, they were engaged. 2004, married. 2005, there's the 5. 2 5s, 2 hands, about to grab that globe in the house of Sod with your Tapanus and all the strong arm of Lut. Ones who make a union, but not of my. Ugh. They were engaged in 2004, married in early 2005, and had their son Baron in 2006. I already told you what a Baron is. It's the son of Ron. It's the son of Ronald. Ronald, Mr. Clinton Donald. For those with eyes to see, the 2 arcs, 2 hemispheres of the mind of the world. Old Testament, New Testament, 2 Corinthians. In 2017, she became the first lady born outside the U.S., allegedly. Since UK-born Louise Adams, John Quincy Adams' first lady, John Quincy Adams. Well, first of all, Adams, that's a big tell. But it's just Johann Adams. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was a Skull and Bones member. Or am I thinking of Taft? I think Quincy Adams was either Bohemian or Skull and Bones. Bohemian are more clay. Skull and Bones are more iron. Bill Clinton reminds DNC he's actually younger than Trump. Oh, that's funny. He made a funny quote, but what's even more interesting is Clinton is the oldest surviving member of his family for 4 generations. For 4 generations, nobody's lived as long as Clinton, probably because he's from what is it? The house, the priesthood that was cut off. Because of the word of Eli, and Saul got Doeg the Edomite to do it. Ahithophel or something like that, or Hisamach or something like that. He's probably from that, because it says that he's probably from the house of Eli. Clinton is from the house of Eli. That's why there's never an old man in his house for 4 generations. That's what the prophet spoke to the house of Eli. I can tell you that Clinton is of the house of Eli. That's why he's involved with the false church. If anybody remembers the Clinton administration, that's why Trump is born out of it. Do you understand? I was born in the darkness. You merely adapted to it. RFK Jr. stuck his finger in the pie and yanked out the void. Not actually. RFK Jr. stuck his hand in the Central Park bear's mouth. Necropsy showed he may have been knuckle deep in her leaked brain. So there's this story where RFK now has a brain worm. He tries to say he got it from this incident when he was diagnosed 2 years before. He has a brain worm. He's waiting for the worms to come. Perfect isolation behind his wall, waiting for the worms. The wall was too high as he could see because he's part of sacrificing JFK. And the worms ate into his brain, and he had to tell a story, literally, where he admits this. Listen to the story, and I'll just say the story, and you can figure it out yourself. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. posed with a dead bear cub he found, but then later it looks like he hit it with his car and lied about it and buried it. Sticking his hand in its mouth, its paw, trying to take its paw, its authority. That's where much of its brain leaked, according to the necropsy obtained by BI. RFK Jr. and the bear may have something in common. It says, not being from New York. Yeah. They're not even from Ireland. On one fateful day, October, it's always Octagon, October, Octopus Garden, in the shade, 2014, a Zion of the Kennedy political dynasty. Can't make this up. They say it in their stories. You don't need Alex Jones or any of these people. You don't need me either. Why aren't you reading your scripture? Are you watching too much TV? Is that a hint of accusation in my eyes? Yes, it is. Came across a dead bear cub in upstate New York. Thinking the meat looked good. Don't want to waste the meat. You could send it to the Chinese and they can try to deshem the planet. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stowed the bear carcass in the back of his car, he said. He spent the day hunting with hawks. That's Horace. And got dinner with friends at a Peter Luger steakhouse. What is our reality? Day turned to dusk. Sun set. You can't leave it hanging there. Sun has set. Body that is hanged is cursed. You must bury it. Kennedy needed to catch a flight. He realized he wouldn't be able to skin the bear and put its flesh into a refrigerator in his Westchester home in time, so he stashed the bear cub carcass in Central Park. Central Park. CIA Cup A and Aleph, which he thought would be funny. He recounted years later because he's demented now. The wall was too high, and the worms ate into his brain. If I go insane, please don't put your wires in my brain. Elon Musk. At some point during that day, Canada ear. Canaan evokes the city invokes Canaan. Canada ear. Who is now an independent candidate for President of the United States, posed with the bear cub's corpse in a photo that became instantly famous when the New Yorker published it earlier this month. He stuck his hand in the bear's bloody mouth, looked down, and grimaced. As it turns out, Kennedy may have been touching the bear's brain matter. Touched his Bertaria, bro. Business Insider has obtained the state report detailing the necropsy the Department of Environmental Conservation performed on the bear cub. The document reveals Kennedy had good instincts when it came to evaluating the bear's flesh. Oh, yeah. Very familiar with it. The animal is in good flesh with good fat reserves for its age and season. Kevin Hines. Hyena. Kap Vav Ayan. Hyena. The wildlife biologist who performed the necropsy wrote in his report from the department's Wildlife Health Unit, Chakayana Kanade, Jackie Kennedy, jackal. Watch out for the jackals. Watch out for the jocktins. The carcass is relatively fresh and tissue are in good post-mortem condition, Hines wrote in the report. Oh, you can freeze it and use its DNA in injections, can't you? According to the report, the 7 or 8-month-old female bear, oh, it's a government, was smashed in the head. A daughter. Do you know what Shabbat means? It means to cry out for a daughter. 7 or 8-month-old. Oh, 7 is Shabbat. 8 is death and rebirth to these people, isn't it? The 7 or 8-month-old female bear was smashed in the head. You shall smash his crown. He shall bite your heels like a good little Yachtanite ankle biter, which is consistent with Kennedy's story that it was hit by a van. But see, he's lying. He hit it. He literally saw meat and this carnivore came out and he swerved and hit it on purpose. Do you understand? He has a brain worm now. He's getting dementia. I told you about Liar's dementia. I told you about how all these firefighters are getting dementia at like 20 years before most people usually get it when they have it. And there are all these firefighters and stuff and first responders of 9/11 because they saw things they can't reason. The cranium was destroyed, Hines wrote, and the brain tissue left there was scrambled, liquefied, and hemorrhagic. Much of the bear's brain tissue leaked and exited through its mouth and nostrils, its pair, its nost. According to the report, the brain structures are unrecognizable. We lost that data. It's a painful process to bring it back. Unsuitable for rabies testing, they say. Reached by phone, rabies. Reached by phone, Hines referred questions to the New York Department of Environmental Conservation, which declined to make him available for an interview. There's the bureaucracy that gets in the way, and everybody just, oh, Truman made his bow and left. What's next on television? Who's the next president? In an interview with The New Yorker, Kennedy speculated that sticking his hand in the bear's mouth may have how he got his brain worm, but he testified about the parasite in his own cranium in a deposition 2 years before the bear was killed. No, the bear dying didn't cause you to go insane. It's you hitting the bear and sticking your mouth, your finger in its paw. You understand? Know what you capitalists do. Plain dress up in the dark. In the deposition, in the deposition, Kennedy said a doctor told him the worm went into my brain and ate a portion of it and then died. Yeah, so there's these things that live in pork and different stuff that scripture says not to eat for some reason. And they go into your liver and then they'll go into your brain and lay eggs, and a worm can eat like half your brain matter or something like that, and you still have 80% function. Fear the Walking Dead, they say. The bear's skin. Why would I fear a dead thing? The bear's skin, carcass, and brain tissue sample were frozen and locked away in the State Environmental Department's Wildlife Health Unit. The frozen remains are no longer in the department's possession, according to AGC spokesman Jeff Vernick, who said samples generally get destroyed. Telemetry data gets destroyed. There's no brain matter left. It will be rot so hard there will be no brain matter left. It says that in scripture. Yahweh will destroy the four corners of the forehead of Moab. So-called Moheb, no Moab. What is like a father? No. The four corners of the bald head will be crushed. Kennedy first disclosed the bear story in a video posted on social media ahead of the publication of the New Yorker article. I said, let's go to the bear. Let's go put the bear in Central Park and we'll make it look like he got hit by a bike. You understand? He's talking about covering up a crime of a bear cub that's very familiar to him. He touched his brain matter. Do you understand? I'm not going to read this story anymore. This is very disturbing. These people are getting brainworms and they're confessing their murders. And I'll tell you, I ain't working on Maggie's farm no more. I'll tell you who Maggie is. MAGA, Magog. I ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm no more. I wake up in the morning, fold my hands and pray for rain. I got a head full of ideas that are driving me insane. It's a shame the way she makes me scrub the floor. I ain't gonna work on Magog's farm no more, on MAGA farm no more. This is Margaret Thatcher, but now the male version, the whole Bahamut has happened. This feminine, flamboyant man who is now MAGA. You are his Maggie, and he is the Thatcher. I ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm no more. I ain't gonna work for Maggie's brother no more. Tell you who Maggie's brother is. Well, he hands you a nickel, he hands you a dime, he asks you with a grin if you're having a good time. Then he finds you every time you slam the door. It's called the unions. That's called Pharaoh, taskmaster. Then he finds you every time you slam the door. You get a mark. You get a strike. I ain't gonna work on Magog's farm no more. I ain't gonna work for Magog's her mouth no more. It's Clinton. Bob Dylan referenced to Clinton a lot of times. You'll see it later. He puts out his cigar in your face just for kicks. His bedroom window is made out of bricks, Freemasonry. The National Guard stands around his door. I ain't gonna work for Magog's pet no more. I'm not afraid of cop and Aleph. I'm not afraid of CIA, FBI. With your CIAs, with your cameras and your satellites, with your CIAs and your FBIs, what you see is what you get. Open your mind, you just might see something. I ain't gonna work for Magog's pet no more. I ain't gonna work for Magog's ma no more. Well, she talks to all the servants about man and God and law. Everybody says she's the brains behind Pa. This is the false church. This is the Hillarys controlling the government while Obama golfs. Everybody says she's the brains behind Pa. She's related to Trump. They're the same Scottish bloodline. They're both hair icons. She's 68, but she says she's 54. I ain't gonna work for Magog's ma no more. I'm not gonna work for Magog's MAGA farm no more. Well, I try my best just to be like I am. But everybody wants you to be just like them. They say, sing while you slave, and I just get bored. Sing while you slave, I just get bored. I ain't gonna work on Magog's farm no more. 45-minute mark. Sound of silence in the chat. No one dare disturb the sound of silence. Adam Ondi Amen. It is a Mormon monument. Right here. There we go. Here we go. sometimes clipped to diamon, that is the door of the testimony that beholds man. It's just telling you it's the testimony of man. It is not Elohim. Lo Elohim. Historic site in Davies Country, Missouri, about 5 miles south of Jameson. James, supplanter. Sean. It is located along the east bluffs above the Grand River, according to the teachings of you-know-who. It is a site where they claim Adam and Eve lived after being expelled from the Garden of Eden, because all the exiles come here. Do you understand? All the evil twins come here. They ask for them. Hecate asks for your worst. Adopted by Hecate. Die for Columbia. I did this a long time ago. Call Columbine. Put the pieces together. They think everybody's gonna show up there at the end and institute the second coming. So if you thought that would be real Kabbalistically in one way or another, let's say you know this Kabbalistic knowledge, you might pick a place, say, right at the doorpost, right at the entrance to what they claim they're going to build there. They claim they're going to build the New Jerusalem. Get yourself a little piece of land from other people's money right there at the doorpost, maybe in a county that's literally named the Fire of Ptah, Texas County. And then you're set right out in the, right as the pathway to what the Mormons call the New Jerusalem. Have a little bear Taria next to it. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Little teddy bears. Little teddy bear army. So, when I said before, when I spoke to those Israelis and the cops most likely using 5G to see our conversation, flashed their red, white, and blue pharaohs colors at them to make them fiarun. That's why you have the song. The whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the beast. Dun, dun, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Don Clear, Don Mantle Tuck. And that's something. It starts off with Don, the Don Mantle Tuck. You can't stand where I stand, you can't walk where I walk. Watch out, we run New York. Policeman come, we bust him out the park. I could shoot a man in Fifth Avenue and everybody'd still vote for me because I run the block. I know this for a fact. You don't like how I act. You claim I'm selling crack, but you be doing that. I'd rather say see ya, 'cause I never want to be an officer, you wicked overseer. You hot shot want to get props and be a savior. First show a little respect. Change your behavior. Change your attitude. Change your plan. There could never really be justice on stolen land. Are you really for peace and equality? Oh, when my car is hooked up, you know you want to follow me. Your laws are minimal. 'Cause you won't even think about looking at the real criminal. This has got to cease, 'cause we getting hyped to the sound of the police. You understand? It doesn't do anything. Why do you think they put the radiating, what is it called? AIMS or something? Or AIRS or that thing that's supposed to mess with your skin? The anti-riot technology? Yeah, they sent it out in Afghanistan when they first invaded there, and then they stopped a year later. Because it probably filled these people full of wrath, and they overpowered them, and they're like, "Oh, we can't use this," because it just gets them hyped. You wanna flash those lights. You're just gonna increase the energy. Now here's a little truth. Open up your eye while you're checking out the boom bap. Check the exercise. Take the word overseer like a sample. Repeat it very quickly in a crew, for example. Overseer, 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 officer, officer, officer. Yeah, officer from overseer. You need a little clarity? Check the similarity. The overseer rode around the plantation. The officer is up patrolling all the nation. The overseer could stop you. What you doing? The officer will pull you over just when he's pursuing. The overseer had the right to get ill, and if you fought back, the overseer had the right to kill. The officer has the right to arrest, and if you fight back, they put a hole in your chest. Whoop! They both ride horses. After 400 years, I've got no choices. The police, them have a little gun, so when I'm on the streets, I rock with a bigger one. Shemiramoth. Whoop! I hear it all day. Just so they can run the light and be upon their way. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Check out the message in the rough styling. The real criminals are the COP. You check for undercover and the 1PD, but just a mere black man, then one crack, then check me. It's genealogies. They have a specific Hamite here that they're breeding, that they do syphilis experiments on. You ever wonder why they do it on them? But just a mere black man, them wanna check me. Them check out me car, for it shine like the sun. But them jealous or them vexed, 'cause them can't afford one. People still slaves up to this day. The black officer doesn't see it that way. He wants a salary. He want it. So he put on a badge and kill people for it. My grandfather had to deal with the cops. My great-grandfather had to deal with the cops. My great-great-grandfather had to deal with the cops. And then my great-great-great-great, when's it gonna stop? You're in Jurassic Park. I recall the time they found those fossilized mosquitoes. Before long they were cloning Dan's AN. Dun, 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 dun. You can't make this up. Can't make this up. Why does Weird Al Yankovic, why does he write about Jurassic Park? And that he's a part of it. That's a very strange thing for him to do. You know, it's very easy for me to imitate his voice because it's in my blood. Did you know this junkyard slave isn't even old enough to shave? But he can use the force, they say. You understand? Go listen to that song. Saga begins. He tells you the saga begins. The piano player is a Sith piano player. Getting you synchronized. Kana. Synchronicity. We all fought in that epic war. It wasn't all long before a little hot shot flew his plane and saved the day. In the end, some Gungans died. Ships blew up and some pilots fried. We escaped from that gas. Met Jar Jar and Boss Nass. We took a bongo from the scene and we went to Theed to see the Queen. We all wound up on Tatooine. Tattoo. That's the plane. Let's do this one just for Trump. Mr. 45, according to Alex Jones. Let's brand him 45, says Alex Jones. Why? Because of Southampton Dock. The sharpening of the mark, of the heated mouth and mark on the skin. Southampton Dock. They disembarked in 45. No one spoke and no one smiled. There were too many spaces in the line. You understand? When Trump ended his term, 45, no one spoke and no one smiled. Why? There are too many family members missing. There were too many spaces in the line at graduation. There were too many spaces in the line from returning troops in Afghanistan. There's too many spaces in the line at church to take communion and be anointed. No one spoke. They wore their mask and no one smiled. Their eyes without a face, because there was too many spaces in the line. Gathered at the cenotaph, sino, chino, ta, pe. Gathered at China's Marken mouth, gathered at the cenotaph, all agreed with hand on heart, pledging allegiance to the one ethnos and the one dividing of spoil, Gad, to see the sacrificial knife. But now, MAGA, Magog, Margaret Thatcher, Magog, and it's Thatcher. The Thatcher in the Rye. She stands upon Southampton Dock with her handkerchief and her summer frock, clings to her wet body in the rain. Hard rain's gonna fall. In quiet desperation, knuckles white upon the slippery reins. He puts them in slippery places. Their tongues stretch through the earth. She bravely waves the boys goodbye again. You're going to wave them goodbye in December. That's the dark winter. Still the dark stain spreads between their shoulder blades to dark Brandon. A mute reminder of the poppy fields and graves. When the fight was over, we spent what they had made. But in the bottom of our hearts, we felt the final cut, because you sold your soul to Leviathan, and they given tax money to feed. They devoured 500,000 Iraqi children, and their serpent queen, Madeleine Albright, said it was worth it. They did nothing to Saddam Sudham, the hunter of Ham. Saddam Hussein, the one who silences man. They did nothing to him. They just got rid of him when his job was done. Just like JFK, they think they're going to be the prize bull. And then they're shattered. Their brain's been battered all over Manhattan. Listen to these songs. My brain's been battered all over Manhattan. Shatter. 59 minutes. Well, through the fish-eyed lens, tear-stained eyes could barely define the shape of this moment in time. Far from flying high, clear blue skies, they're all spiraling down to the hole in the ground where they hide. If I can make it past minefields in the rye, beat the dogs, cheat the cold electronic eye, if I can make it past the shotgun in the hall, dial the combination, open the priest hold. If you're in, you tell me with a gunshot. Oh, but that doesn't get me. Get back up. All right, let's play something cool here. I like this one. I never knew hustlers confessed in stereo. Coming back on part 3 at 3 o'clock. That is the true synchronicity. Let's go. Because I ain't wrong to get it on till I die. No, I'm get on till I die. get straight to the business. Straight to business. This is episode 16 of the Apocalypse Noah series. And this song is Business 16. Can't make this up. Didn't realize that until now.
Yo, I'm a businessman. Straight to the business. Nah, I ain't gonna miss this. Cause you lot taking the biscuit. So stay on the fringes, pray for the win. You fakers are making me cringe. I should've stayed in the basement. You got no place to skate on the pavement. Your head's vacant, complacent. Too green, no beef, no bacon. Complaining, we're all savages. No shit, Sherlock, can't handle this. Can't prepared, I don't mean sandwiches. Sack of shit, come with a bag of bandages. I'm unstable, bring reinforcements. Cut the cake, give me the big portion. Of course, it's just rawness. Grassroots, no big endorsements. So I'm chalking. One up to Ollie, tits in a trolley. Balls in a biscuit tin. Ain't no fool with a bling, I'm cool with a ting. Who's that? I'm a roof rag. Should I shoot back or blast and boom back? Cute rappers, you better off to move back. True that, mate, don't do that. And I'm getting too fat, but you'll wear the food out. Brat, gunshot in the air like you don't care about wasting rounds. Why's your face in a frown? I ain't targeting no one, I'm just making the rounds. Making the most of it while you're posting links to bogus shit. My frozen fingertips are still picking bricks up and laying them in those conditions.